My name is Ben Goldstein. Welcome to the first episode of Tactical Tuesday, brought to you by Israeli Combat Training. Check us out on Facebook, Israeli Combat Training. Don't forget to like us. And YouTube, subscribe at Israeli Combat Training. Today we're going to talk about a subject that should be the first thing that's discussed regarding firearms. It should be the last thing discussed regarding firearms. And it should be a constant topic throughout the day, throughout your life, if you do choose to own or carry a firearm. The topic is safety. Every Israeli combat training session, no matter if you jump out of helicopters wearing SWAT gear for a living, whether you rescue hostages on a daily basis for a living, or if you're brand new to the world of firearms, safety first, safety last. Today what we're going to show you is the Israeli method for clearing your firearm. We're going to start by explaining something that's close to my heart, which is muscle memory. Now, what does muscle memory have to do with safety? It's a good question. I believe that in order to fully achieve muscle memory, you have to do the same thing every time, no matter what. What that means is, even now, while I show you the pistol, while I present the pistol, I'm going to present it in a way where I would normally draw my pistol if I were training on drawing. Why do I do that? Again, I believe that if you don't do it every time right, every time the same way, properly, efficiently, and effectively, you won't do it when you have to. So, next week, we're going to discuss the draw. But this week, I'm just going to show you what it's like. You start in a regular position. You bring up your support hand. You rake up your shirt or pull it aside with your gun hand. Go down directly onto your pistol. Get a good solid combat grip. Trigger finger is indexed straight line on your holster. Draw the pistol up and out, already facing your target. Now we'll discuss next week why I believe it's important to bring your support hand up on the draw instead of drawing with two hands. I'm going to blow your mind. But for this week, let's just talk safety. So right now, I'm facing downrange. I'm facing a location where there's no other human beings present, where if I were to accidentally squeeze the trigger and fire, the bullet, the round, would strike a safe environment, be it a berm, be it sand, be it somewhere where there's no people or animals that could get hurt or property that can get damaged. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure my trigger finger is indexed. When we train together, we always make sure our trigger finger is indexed until we're ready to actually squeeze the trigger. How long does that take? Well, let's see. Ready, set, go. How long did that take? A blink of an eye. You can get there in a blink of an eye. But for safety, while we're moving, while we're running, while we're operating, we keep our finger off the trigger. Always. This gun right here can sit here for 1,000,001 years, fully loaded, ready to rock and roll, and not do anything until somebody comes up and goes, hey, what's that? And they squeeze this little trigger and then it goes bang. The gun is not a dangerous object. The lack of knowledge and the fear of the gun is what causes accidents and danger to happen. Safety first, safety last. My barrel is pointed downrange in a safe location. I know what's around me, left, right, behind. If I'm at a shooting range, I know where I can and cannot shoot. If you're indoors, you don't shoot the walls, you don't shoot the ceiling, you don't shoot the floor. You shoot towards your target. The first thing we're going to check is actually just look at our pistol. Now, do we bring our eyes down to the gun or our gun up to our eyes? We always have to be aware of our surroundings. And as you'll notice in my videos, everything we discuss is intertwined. It's all connected. So if you stare down at the gun, you don't see what's around you. But if you bring the gun up to your eyes, you can see the exact areas you need to look at to make sure your gun is in functioning condition. The first thing I'm going to do is check to see if there's a magazine inside. I'm going to bring the gun up to my eyes where I still have full situational awareness. Granted, during a high-stress situation, you have tunnel vision, but I at least want to make certain that I'm developing the muscle memory needed to know that when I have to do this under extreme stress, I can, because this is all I know how to do. I don't know how to look down to my gun. I force myself not to, over and over again. So, finger is indexed off the trigger, weapon is up. I am seeing the weapon while I'm seeing my surrounding, and I'm going to show you You don't have to be Rambo. This isn't let's be cool training. There's no ninja rolls. There's no magic pixie dust. All this is a piece of plastic and metal. All this is a piece of plastic and metal. All it does is it fires little tiny projectiles in a straight line at 1,000 feet per second towards a target. It's archaic, but it's still dangerous if you don't know how to use it properly. First thing I'm going to do is notice there is a magazine in place. First thing I have to do is eject the magazine. Ejecting magazines is going to be another topic we're going to discuss. I am going to use my support hand to eject the magazine. Just like that. Now, as soon as I press that button, the magazine clicks out. I rake it out. The first thing I'm going to do is check the magazine to see if there's any ammunition inside. Once I see the magazine is empty, then I can assume that there is one round in the gun. Well, why do I assume that there's still a bullet in the gun? Reason being, always, no matter what, until you have visually and physically checked a pistol, you always assume that there's a round in there. That means if I check this right now, and I put it down, and I turn around for even a split second, and I turn back around and pick up the gun, I have to assume that the evil Grinch or Murphy stuck his little head up and stuck a little bullet inside of this little Glock. It might sound crazy to a lot of folks, but again, if you keep safety first and you keep safety last in your mind, then your surrounding environment will be safe as well. So notice I still have the magazine in my hand. Now I check the magazine. I'm going to reinsert the magazine into my mag pouch. Once that's secured, I take my pinky and I physically check to make sure there's no magazine inside the mag well. To a lot of people that aren't used to this, that might seem extremely redundant. Good. Redundancy with safety is excellent. The one thing that we do slowly in Israel when we're tactically training, slowly and methodically, is clear our weapons. That means if you have an instructor on the range screaming at you, clear your weapon, make it... You don't go fast, you breathe, you take your time. You make sure you're in a proper environment. You make sure your barrel is pointed in a safe direction. You make sure that people around you are safe. Safety is everybody's responsibility. You're not just responsible for yourself at my training sessions. You are responsible for the people next to you as well. We are all a brotherhood and a sisterhood. We take care of each other. We don't rely on other people to protect us, defend us, or make sure we're safe. So, now that I have physically verified there's no magazine, I check. Visually verify there's no magazine. Now that I know there is no magazine, I bring the pistol back towards the target. I rack my entire hand over the top of the slide. Reason being, if my hands are bloody, if my hands are wet, if my hands are simply shaking because my heart rate has skyrocketed under stress, a lot of times you can't do small functions, small motor movements, small motor skills with your hands. Grab the slide, wrap your hand over, and the way to test to make sure you actually have a good grip is to let go with your shooting hand and just to hold on to it. Now that you know you have a good grip, I want you to pull back 3 times on the slide. 1, 2, 3, and hold. Now, a lot of people are going to tell me, Ben, you're riding the slide. Good, let's do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And hold back, and we visually inspect that we can see straight down to the floor, and we can see straight through our barrel. Now I know, without any question whatsoever, that there is no round in this gun, there are no bullets in this gun. This has now become a paperweight, or a object to be used as a blunt force striking object against an enemy. That's all this is worth right now. Let's start over. I haven't finished. I check to make sure there's no magazine in place. Gun goes back down range. Notice, I have not changed my grip the entire time. I'm still maintaining this pistol in a combat firing grip. Pull back on the slide 3 times and hold. Look inside visually. You want to take it a next step? One more level? Lock that slide back. Stick your finger inside and feel physically. Do you see or feel anything inside? No. Once you know you're safe, bring the slide back into battery. Take your support hand index finger, put it straight up the mag well. I know I'm going to get a lot of jokes about that. Put it straight up the mag well, aim down range, between sights, slowly squeeze the trigger straight back, index your trigger finger, check to make sure your weapon is still in battery, which is something we're going to touch on. It's a very Israeli method and technique that's used during training and of course during combat. Check to make sure your pistol is still in working condition. Once you know that this is clear and safe, thumb behind the slide, pull your shirt up safely, slowly with your finger indexed, reholster. The majority of negligent discharges occur either on the draw or on the reholster, which is why I don't allow shoulder holsters in my training sessions. Too many people have too much opportunity to replace a pistol back into their shoulder holster, but where's the barrel facing? Not downrange in a safe environment, but behind them, and who knows what's going to happen if they squeeze the trigger accidentally. So today, what we discussed is a very simple subject that you would think most people would understand very clearly right off the bat. But what most people don't quite understand is that safety is something that is not just for beginners. Safety is for everyone, no matter what their skill level is. Especially those that are professional, especially those that go on active combat operations. They specifically know the value of making sure their weapon is safe when it needs to be safe. Well, that's the first edition of Tactical Tuesday. I'm Ben Goldstein, Chief Instructor and CEO of Israeli Combat Training. Make sure you like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and feel free to shoot me some comments to let me know if you like it, if you don't like it, or maybe some other topics or subjects I can cover. Catch you next time on Tactical Tuesday. Ben Goldstein signing out from Judea.